What are you so happy about? What are you giggling at me about? No, calm down. Stop the giggling. What's the deal? What do you mean you had Montreal in 7? Really? And here you work for me, and you had Montreal in 7? All right, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Go away. Bye. Here we go again. Wait till next year. The mantra continues. The banner continues. They're going to hang it from the top of the Scotia Centre. Wait till next year. Ho hum. Anyway, welcome to episode 22, season 2 of the 411 Live with Lee Sterry. That is me. We are fueled by Gales Gas Bars as always, and thank them for being on board. We are powered by WeeStream Niagara. We'll be talking more about that as we go on a little further. We are also supported in great detail with Performance Heating and Air, as well as Enwick, Niagara's internet provider, and Verge Insurance Group for all your insurance needs. Everything located right here in Niagara. Also, we want to thank Nick at Niagara 411 and all of you folks that contribute back and forth and have done so over the course of a very interesting week here in Niagara, which we will be talking about in just a matter of seconds, right here at the beautiful open air window of Fiddler's Pour House. We're going to be talking with Mouk from Fiddlers in just a bit as well. So come on in and join the show. At least it stopped raining. We have a nice, pleasant day in downtown St. Catharines here on St. Paul Street. And we don't have bright, blazing sunshine. And normally you're used to seeing a hat on this head. Well, we'll talk more about that too. Not that it's of any interest to you whatsoever. But some really cool people coming up on the program today. And we'll tell you more about that in about 30 seconds. Here we are, and actually for us, Kevin and I that is, it is an absolutely perfect lunch hour afternoon here in the open air window of Fiddler's Pour House on St. Paul Street, because often we have the blazing sunshine coming in here, and I got to do the, mopping of the brow and the wearing of the hat, and well, the hat's a bit of a story. You see, there was a bit of a thing with the NHL over the last little while since we last talked.
You don't say.
Yeah, I do say. And it turned out a little bit differently than most of us had anticipated. And most of us lost a little bit of coin on, I mean silly money, I mean monopoly money, on that competition that was taking place between two teams you might be familiar with, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. So, part of my wager was you got to do a show without the hat. So here we are. Kevin? You being more of a hockey man than me, I understand the angst of Toronto. I understand, fans that is. I understand the wait till next year. I understand all the jokes, the Toronto Maple laughs and all that stuff. Mitch Marner's been like dragged over the coals like crazy over the last little while. Austin Matthews not far behind. And so I have to turn this over. People have a lot of other places to go for sports other than this show, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on sports. I get that. But it's probably something bigger than we've seen in a while. And sorry to laugh, but Kevin, just give me the KJ summary of your range of emotions over the 7 games that was round one of the playoffs.
Believe it or not, as a Leafs fan, against my better judgment, they actually built up a level of hope in me. I don't know why. That's foolish of me as a Leafs fan to actually think that they might succeed, and then they did not. All I'll say is this, is that if you get paid more than $10 million a year over the course of a 7-game series, you should win a game. Carey Price gets paid over more than $10 million a year. At least one, if not a couple of those games, he won. Austin Matthews did not score 3 goals in a game to win a game. Mitch Marner did not make incredible plays where the point you say, well, Montreal just cannot match that. And sorry, guys, you get paid a lot of money. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I'm not saying that death threats are acceptable, but if you do not perform and you get paid $10 million a year for that performance, this goes along with the job. That's it.
Yep.
All right. Lots of places to talk sports. Now, last week, we had Todd, who was the Leafs fan, join us on the program, and it's a good time to mention that if anybody wants to come on the show, they can do so. The link is right there in the comments.
Indeed. And this is obviously one of the big emotional topics of the week, whether it should be or not, considering the deep-seated fandom that the Leafs have had for so many years, and everybody thought this was going to be the year. But anyway, again, everybody thinks that every year is going to be the year. Whatever. But if you have been sitting at home since Game 7, just like chewing the inside of your cheek because you want to rant or you want to say something or you want to offer the solution for next year's team, or whatever you want to do, or if you want to wave the flag for Montreal, which I know there are some that do.
We're talking to you, Welland.
Yeah. All you have to do, whether it's that topic or anything else, is click on the link in the stream that you're watching. It'll scoot you into our Zoom room, green room. It's sort of our waiting room before you come see the doctor. And Kevin will make everything right, and you can come on and we'll have a chat about it, okay? And that goes for anything at all throughout the course of the program. Before I talk a little bit more about our sponsors, I want to let you know what is coming up on the program. At 12:30 today, our gracious host here at Fiddler's Poorhouse, Dave Moukperian, he operates this restaurant as well as Monty's in St. Catharines. They are actually now... hold on to your hats here. Well, I would if I had one, but they are actually doing some hiring. Now, we'll probably have people lined up down the street before the show is over, but that's good news, is by what I mean by that in this whole era that we're living through. He's going to talk about that and what's going on, and nothing better than someone on the front lines of the service industry here in Niagara to tell us exactly what the situation is and how he's been doing, and he can sort of be the spokesperson for others that are in that shape all over the peninsula. Dave's going to be joining us about 12:30. 12:40 today, our pal Patrick Alexander is going to be joining us. He's a teacher, he's a comedian, he is an activist, and he is also... That's Patrick's brother, right there. That's Timothy John, and it's been a big week for the alternative community here in Niagara. So this is Patrick's post. My brother Timothy John. Tim is assisting his principal Jim Whittard at St. Francis. That's a high school in St. Catharines. Raised the pride flag for the first time ever in the Catholic School Board. This is a seismic shift, one I never thought I'd see. So we'll dig into that a little bit deeper. And of course, June, in case you're wondering why we are dipping our toe into this pond this week, June, of course, is National Pride Month. That is the Pride Sidewalk that manifested itself, obviously in front of the Bate Cafe on St. Paul Street in St. Catharines, but also the other side of that is right near the Performing Arts Center.
Now, Lee, just before we go any further, Patrick's going to be joining us at 20 after 12, so in about 10-15 minutes.
What did I say?
12:40.
Did I say 12:40?
Yep.
All right.
That's okay.
12:20.
Yeah, so 10 minutes from now.
10 minutes from now. Not 20 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now. Okay. You have a Fitbit, Kevin?
No, but a lot of people...
I know this came out of nowhere, but do you have one of those?
No, the kids have one. My mom has one. Wife has one.
Every now and then the numbers confuse me. So 40 went to 20, and they was talking about steps. So sorry about that. Anyway, 12:20 is Patrick Alexander. See, what I would normally do in a situation like this, I would normally say, hey, Kevin, you told me 12:40. I'm sorry, man. Before the show, you told me 12:40. You're going under the bus. But no, I guess that's not.
I appreciate that, Lee.
That's not.
I can handle it.
I know you can. You're a big man. Speaking of handling things, nice segue, by the way. We were talking last week about how you, as a representative of young parents here in Niagara, struggling quite a bit with the ongoing situations of in-home learning and entrepreneurialism and trying to put food on the table and trying to spend time in your work and juggling, keeping all those plates spinning, as it were. Yesterday was the announcement.
Oh, there's that scooter guy again.
Rock and roll.
At least he operates on a schedule.
I hope he never has to get out of the way for a siren, because he's going to have an issue.
I kind of like that song. Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right for heavy metal at noon. So we were talking about the stress of young families, and we knew that there would be some sort of an announcement coming up in the very near future. I'm talking our conversations from last week. RE the rest of the school year. Well, that announcement did indeed come out for the province yesterday, and there will be no more in-class learning for the remainder of the year. The remainder of the year will go on, however, with at-home learning, virtual learning, online, whichever term you want to use. So let me go back to Kevin, because he's my source for this stuff, because he's sort of the litmus test for the core group that is affected by all this. And Kevin, take it away.
It's unfortunate that the kids aren't going back to school, but it was the only sensible decision to make. And I guess I'd leave it at that. Everybody has their own situation. Our situation at home is a difficult one because our two children are young, so they need a lot of hand-holding with online learning.
Yeah.
I would love it if I didn't have to babysit, essentially. I mean, that's what I'm...
Right.
That's what I'm brought down to with the online learning, is I get called upon every 60 or 90 seconds to help with something, some aspect of it. But at the same time, we've come this far. What is the point of jamming all of these families into a confined space when we're trying to battle a pandemic?
Which might just expand the issue even more.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
It might, putting them in school for 3 weeks might set us back 3 months, and it makes no sense.
I have to disclose some behind-the-scenes stuff. When Kevin and I were chatting on the phone, which we do a couple times a week about this show, and in the background, every now and then Kevin had to just take a pause in the conversation that we were having, understandably so, because I heard a Daddy, and to hear Kevin deal with his children in the background was just so wonderful. It might not have been wonderful for you, Kevin, but I had a smile on my face the whole. But it won't do that, Daddy. It just won't. Well, you have to try to. It was just such a.
See, there they are.
Yeah, there they are. Beautiful kids. Everybody has beautiful kids and wonderful children until they're not. But anyway.
But yeah, I mean, when you got kids that age and they're both online schooling, you're lucky if 5 minutes goes by where you can actually do something. And then, with all the breaks and all the snacks and all the meals that you have to make them, and then next thing you know, one of them has to go to the bathroom, and I got a bum to wipe. This is my life, Lee.
It just sounded like one of those doctor, it hurts when I do that. Well, don't do that. And I think it was your daughter said, Daddy, they're telling me I have to do this. Well, do it then. Okay. It was just awesome.
Now, speaking of young
you want to get off this stuff?
Yeah, young school-age children. We got this great kid, Lincoln, coming up.
He's coming up on the program as well. Now, did you give me the right time on this? 12:50.
Yes.
All right. Finally, you did something right today.
Finally.
Lincoln is a young man who has stepped up. As every now and then, some people do, and it's always more impactful somehow and more surprising when it's a young person that does something like this, has stepped up to do his bit, if you will, the best way he can to support Niagara. And this was one of the posts that was on Niagara 411, of course, Nick put up there, and we kind of fell in love with the idea. And we're going to have Lincoln on the program to tell us about what he's been doing and why he's doing it and how the whole thing is going. I won't spill the beans right now, but Lincoln's coming up at 12:50 today, 10 to 1. Now, this is something, Kevin, I have to ask Patrick about when he gets on, but just as a little bit of a setup, we have been seeing so many things, as we should, since June is National Pride Month, about various groups talking about the fact it's all about recognition. It's all about being seen, heard, acknowledged, and just not ignored or felt sort of run over or just not part of the conversation. You can pick any one of a number of expressions. The rainbow letters, though, Kevin, are getting longer and longer and longer as we go, and I certainly can't condemn it because I would be the last one that would have any credibility in that genre. However, we now have I just got used to saying LGBTQ. Right?
Yes, so did I. LGBTQ and then the plus.
I got it. I'm pretty good at that. It kind of rolls off the tongue.
Certain sectors that felt underrepresented, I suppose. And
yeah.
All right, it's their right.
So now we have, and this is something I'm going to I really want to ask Patrick about, because, well, keep in mind, Patrick is also a comedian, so he may have a few different takes on how he wants to answer this question. So now we have a designation, or a group designation. I'm not even sure what adjective to use. 2SLGBTQIA+. 2SL GBTQIA+. That's a lot of, and there's the new Pride sidewalk between Mate Cafe and the Performing Arts Center on St. Paul Street in St. Catharines. Now, Niagara Falls released the photos, courtesy of WeeStream, I might add, and the official opening of their Pride sidewalk, quite some time ago. I think it was even in 2021.
Yeah, we did it. We did it last year at the beginning of Pride Month, and it's interesting that in just a year, the flag now includes about 4 or 5 other sectors. And you know what? I mean, I'll say rightly so, right? I mean,
oh, it's great.
Who am I to find issue?
Totally. And with the big deal you saw, we had Patrick's brother on a shot there at the beginning of the show. Flags for the first time will be raised at Catholic schools across Niagara, etc. So some big leaps, forward. And as I understand it, we have Patrick hanging around in the wings. Our pal Patrick Alexander, a comedian extraordinaire, teacher here in Niagara, activist, and that picture, Patrick. First of all, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here, buddy.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Beautiful.
Happy to do that. I'll just turn the volume up a little bit, and I'm good to go. So, as we roll into, here we are on June the 3rd. As we roll into National Pride Month here in Canada, Niagara has some things. There he goes. Nice shirt. Very cool. I don't think you have enough colors on there though now.
I don't think so. Yeah.
No. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah. So as you enter into this month, if you will, and I always question whether we should have months for things or not, but I suppose we do. It shines some light on things. What are your feelings going into June 2021?
Sort of the same as my birthday in March. So we're doing this still.
We're doing this still.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
I think, but you know, I'm hopeful that I won't have to say that a third time, but I'm knocking on wood that, you know, in next summer, it'll be in meat space. It'll be, you know, this the way that it was. But I think that to your endeavor about the Pride Month, several things have been raised about that, even with like Black History Month. And I think it was, I'm forgetting the actor's name. Samuel L. Jackson? No.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, yeah. And he said that he doesn't want a month. He just wants it as history, right?
Yeah.
And that raises a very valid point. I think that this sort of thing is necessary simply because, you know, the first Pride, again, was a riot. That's sort of the culture that's been sort of put forward, is that this was not a, like, you know, happy time back in the 70s. This was, you know, them saying we're tired of being treated differently and oppressed by police. And this was a movement that was founded by, like, people of color, Black trans women of color, because they were just tired of, you know, going to spaces and not being allowed to exist. And the old adage is, you know, if you wonder why there isn't a pride for your sexual orientation, then just be happy you don't need one, because, you know, heteronormativity is the way it is. You know, people just assume that you are heterosexual because it's the majority, and we get that. But at the same time, to celebrate being proud of who you are, because for so long people aren't, I think is a beautiful thing.
So as we roll into this, you were probably waiting in the green room or before you signed in when I ran through this new moniker. Like, I was just starting to, as a really boring old white guy, you know, gender specific, sexagenarian or whatever the hell they call it. Does that sound good? Sexagenarian? I don't know. Anyway,
are you in your 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Well, it sounds like sexagenarian sounds like, you know, people who are still, like, sexually active at a certain age.
I wish.
But it actually
wish that were the case.
But
that's a whole other conversation, Patrick. We're not going to get into that now.
You wear the label you want, okay, right?
Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to have to add another letter to this thing.
That's right.
So, so help me out here with.
Sure.
And I want to get your opinion on this too. Your honest opinion, not your comedic opinion. Your honest opinion. 2SLGB2. Sorry, I'll start again. 2SLGBTQIA plus. Is there a time coming where we don't have to increase the alphabet, or do we just have to keep adding letters to this?
I think, well, you know what, in the efforts to be inclusive, all right, the thing about the whole initialism, it's pretty daunting. Like, yeah. I can remember my credit card easier than I can sometimes. But if you go through it all, I mean, when it was just LGBT, that's sort of the shortest version of that. They felt that it was sort of excluding a lot of other people who are sort of a minority in a minority. I think that, okay, like a term like pansexual is different than bisexual and things like that. But I think that if that entire initialism isn't used, I don't know if anyone is necessarily offended, only because it's daunting to write. Like, it's like, you know, there is a lot, but they just want to do it. They didn't want to exclude anybody.
Yeah, but I get that. But at some point in time, doesn't it become perhaps, and I'm thinking about this like a journalist and a marketer right now.
Yeah.
At some point in time, does it not become self-defeating for the concept of the movement in general, because the so-called, here we go, the so-called straight, mainstream, whatever those vanilla phrases that you want to use to describe parts of our society, do they not after a while get so overwhelmed they just stop listening?
I think that's part of the media discourse with this. I think that, like, when this whole initialism is presented, like, even people I have in my family, people I work with, they didn't know that that's the extent of it, let's say. I think that for, like, marketing terms, it's a bit long. However, I think that when you want to be inclusive, sometimes, you have to expand that alphabet. And I said to some people, you know, if you ask somebody, okay, what's your background? You know, in terms of your heritage, they'll say you, well, you know, I'm Latvian with my mother's side, but I'm Scottish, Irish on my father's side,
Right, yeah.
and all that. And then it's sort of like me saying, okay, I can only remember one thing. That's enough. Because when you tell people about like things like gender expression, when I say, well, you know, cisgender means you're a boy who identifies as a boy,
Yeah.
and anything else is trans, they're like, oh, that's
Sorry.
confusing. And I said,
Yeah.
well, is it really confusing? Because I think the more that people just understand what the initials stand for, it's not that hard to remember. Like I can remember all just because I've done a lot of work with it.
Yeah.
And there's a beauty in it. Like the first one, the 2S, is two-spirited, which comes from Indigenous people. And get this concept.
Okay, thank you.
They felt that in their culture that people who housed the masculine and the feminine energy were to be revered and to be honored in their society. We sort of took that in a different direction. We kind of went the opposite way with that. We're like, nah, let's marginalize, right? But they were very much about, if that was the case, that you are considered someone with the wisdom of both, and that you are someone.
So that's where the 2S comes from.
Two-spirited, yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That for explain, Patrick.
I'm here.
What the heck was that?
My iPad is not.
Okay.
Expensive.
All right. It's not tuned into the new culture. That's okay.
Exactly.
Now, one of the do you ever another question on this, and then we can move on to other things. Do you foresee the day when there will be enough understanding, there will be enough confidence amongst the, for the lack of a better word, fringe communities to feel that they can be included under a single umbrella and feel represented? Or do you think we're just going to continue to have to delineate sections and letters and slices of the society? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think that, yeah, I do. I think that, though it would be, I mean, if someone could think of a way to represent all that in a more maybe umbrella term, that's one thing. But I think because so many people are unaware of these differences, that to put them all together may also just kind of shut that out. Like there are people who are, let's say, what we used to consider like a hermaphrodite, which is a word we don't use anymore, is now by, you know, they're intersexed. All right, that's a term a lot of people don't know, so they'll still use that old term. It's not something that's in the news a lot. You hear a lot about in the media, but to use an old term like that would be, you know, offensive. But then to bring that up, we're living in a culture where they're like, you know, oh, well, now I'm supposed to change my language for you. It's like, well, yeah, you are. Deal with it. Okay. Like, not a big deal. All right. It's
yeah,
one
because
word.
we do. We learn about the language of a lot of things as we go forward. Well, not just
Sure.
sexuality. I mean, we learn to call this bird something other than what it is because we know it's not that bird anymore. You know.
Well, I mean, if you look at the news lately, there's been a lot of talk of like the terrible conflict in Israel and Palestine. And
Absolutely.
There's terms like Zionist, Jew, and all this. I didn't know what any of that meant, but I looked it up, and now I know what like Zionist or nationalist all that means, because it's important. Those terms delineate culture of people.
I was just going to interject
if you
here.
know that, look, I learned something.
And Patrick, right to that, I want to learn something today too. And to be perfectly honest, the two sex I understood. The I didn't know was for intersex. Can you define what each of those letters represents? I honestly don't know, and I think we're educating a lot of people.
Okay, so 2S, two spirits. We got that.
Okay, 2S is two-spirited. LGBT is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender.
Yeah. Q is
they
queer.
used to add another T. Yeah, queer or questioning. There's usually two Qs.
Okay.
Questioning means they're not sure where on this whole continuum they are.
Okay.
They are not necessarily going to land on a label. They're just saying, I'm questioning it, and we leave it at that. Intersex is if you are born with the sex organs of both male and female.
Okay.
And that determination is sometimes made by a doctor or by parents at birth, or not at all. Then there's asexual, which means no sexual sort of feelings towards anybody. Yeah. And then I think if I missed one, I don't know if I did.
Well, just the
then
plus.
There's two-spirited. The plus represents that. So, like, let's say there's asexual and I'm forgetting. I think there's another A. I'm so sorry. This is me being a bad Instagrammist, but
hey, it's understandable. There's a lot of letters in here.
Yeah. So the I for intersex and let's say they used to have two T's for trans and two-spirited, but they added the two instead. They add the plus for those who, again, maybe don't identify with any of these, and that does happen. It's called non-binary. They don't believe in any of it. They're like, I'm just me. and I don't prescribe to any of this.
As a matter,
but we include that because, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you there. As a matter of fact, over the course of the last week, I've been reading a little bit more of the that term you use, non-binary, because Ellen Page, well, it used to be Ellen Page,
is Elliot now, yeah,
is Elliot Page now, and he was on a couple of television programs and is. I mean, we all remember the movies that he then supposed she was in, and Academy Award winner, et cetera. Fabulous, but never felt comfortable in that role. No. Can't watch himself do that role as playing it as a female. And the other one was a very, very famous pop singer. Came out over the course of the week, Demi Lovato. Who
did she really?
You didn't see?
didn't
see this story? And
no,
you call yourself hip and up to the minute? Come on, wow. Take a page out of my book. So yeah, Demi Lovato came out very, very vocally all over Twitter and Facebook, etc.
Yes,
and said that she would be referring to herself as they from now on. Was doing the whole non-binary. Approach to her sense of self, and that is something that a lot of people that aren't in the community don't
understand.
Have a hard time wrapping their heads around what that means. Can you explain that? What that is?
To the best of my ability, only because I don't have that experience, but what I understand of it, when we're born, we are told right away, before we even understand words, language, communication, anything, what it means to be a male or a female because of things like colors, toys, things like that. Yeah. Now, that is of no judgment on anybody.
Yeah.
But the idea of non-binary is, let's say that was never allowed to happen. Let's say you just brought them toys from wherever, from boys, girls, whatever, and allowed them to find out what they like themselves instead of saying, well, you do this and girls do that, or vice versa. Is there maybe a shift in what they would have gravitated towards, as opposed to doing what they were expected to do? I think that non-binary means they don't necessarily want to be housed as male or female. They feel maybe that those terms are both not enough, that they're somewhere in between. And I think that it's how gender is performed, all right? So if you imagine it on a body, gender is in your mind. It's the performance of who you are. Your heart is your sexual orientation. So I'm a gay person, I'm attracted to other men, that's who I love, that's who I want to be with. Whereas your sex organs are at birth, are you a male or a female? If your gender up here doesn't feel the same as what you're with, that's where trans comes in. So for people who are non-binary, they don't up here really ascribe to labels. They see what's down here and they're like, I'll get back to you. All right. And even here, they're open to whoever. Yeah. So I think in that way, they live outside the labels that we want to put them in. And that's really what makes people uncomfortable. Yeah. If they can't figure it out, they go into fear, and they shouldn't, because why would you not want to figure out more of what humanity is capable of? And maybe we can evolve from this. This is not the end of just what we know about the limits of humanity.
Anything that expands discussion, I think, is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if people don't understand it, I understand that. But again, with a quick Google search, they can. It's out there. There's a lot of good literature out there. Just make sure your sources are credible.
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
This week, Patrick, and we showed a picture of your brother helping raise the flag at St. Francis High School in St. Catharines.
Yes.
You came up through the Roman Catholic school, separate school board system. You are currently a teacher within the separate school board system in Niagara. I mean, you've got all the badges and the T-shirts to last you a lifetime here as experience.
Sure.
From seeing your posts and some of the comments that you've made, this has been a pretty emotional week for you.
Yeah.
Describe this using your background as a backdrop and current events as current events, and looking forward. past, present, future. Where are you right now? How are you feeling about all this?
Well, I'm eternally proud of my brother because, while I've been doing work at he's been at St. Francis for I think 15 to I don't even know how long. I'm going to say 17 years.
Okay.
I'm going to say, and he has established a GSA there that is award winning through Pride Niagara for the last decade. And I mean, it's been consistent because he's been there the whole time and has always had, the group that met, and it just got bigger and bigger, and the word of mouth spread. And really, all it does is provide a space for kids to come to, talk to other like-minded people and maybe get a little information. They do a little bit of, in-school information, activism, stuff like that. But it's sort of a quiet, unsung club. And then his dream was always to see a flag over, the Catholic board, because we've never really done that. And they have their reasons, and, they've expressed those, and, I've read them. But I think that, the flag is not a celebration of anything other than love. And that love is different
and
for different people. Yeah, I mean, the gospel of Jesus Christ goes down to the one word love. That's really, if you want to understand that, that's what it is. To get tied up in a lot of this other thing, of dogma and rhetoric, you can pretty much call out anything. But at the same time, at the core of it, this is not a bad thing. It's not a symbol of anything other than people wanting to be understood, that we all come in different colors, shapes, and sizes, and that all of it is beautiful, because together it makes a white light. That's what the prism represents. That we are one, but we are separate, but we are one.
Okay.
Patrick,
so the Dark Side Moon album, like Pink Floyd, you know what I mean? Think of that.
Patrick, I want to ask you about what's happening in schools. You and I are of a similar age, and for me growing up, to identify as anything other than heterosexual in high school was probably the worst thing you could possibly do. Yeah. And I look back at that society and that culture in which I grew up, and I'm ashamed and embarrassed of it. What is the school culture today in dealing with children that are identifying as anything other than hetero?
School boards are like, I'm speaking from my experience.
Yeah, I mean, you're in there on a daily. I don't know what it's like.
We're incredibly supportive. The problem is those students still feel alienated even by authority. So a lot of them maybe won't come forward. If they do, we are very much aware of it. And unfortunately, the attendance rate is not great, especially for trans. The thing about if you are, gay, lesbian, like I call it it's called the invisible minority, because you can withhold that unless someone asks you. But if you're trans and you're presenting as trans, that's visible. People can see that. So their rate of attendance, unfortunately, is still very scarce. They still feel, and it's nothing to do with anything other than just, social pressure and being singled out. But we work very hard to make sure that those students are supported. I've been asked several times about certain questions about, when they come to school, what makes them feel comfortable. And we are trying very hard to include them. I think that this generation coming up, like mine, and they always get a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more progressive. They get it. It's just, they're fighting against now the adults in their life who are still, not quite getting it, and not allowing them to say, well, hey, you could get it if you really wanted to. And I think that, I'm amazed that these kids at 14, 15 have the nerve, like you said, the bravery to come out and say this, because it's not something I would have ever done.
But it's because it is because of people like you, and because of things that have happened in the media and on Facebook and in social media and things of that nature. And there is a lot of the dark side to social media and the kind of communications world we live in right now. But there's always a very bright side. It is the fact that people especially teenagers, people are of prepubescent and pubescent years that are just struggling with who the hell they are, have role models, have people to talk to, have places to go, where 20 years ago, there was no place to go.
Oh. I mean, the thing is, I said, like, representation, to be seen in a community is important. When I grew up, I didn't see really anybody around me who was an openly person. And then even I grew up in the 90s, so the media changed. I was there, like, when Ellen came out on her show, when Will and Grace started. But there was a certain depiction of gay people in the 90s where it was sort of, again, comedic relief, or sort of a supplement character. But like in Will and Grace, they didn't really show Will having a relationship till like the third season.
Yeah.
Like, he never was actually physically touching another man until the third season. So,
well, it became
it's fine in theory.
it became like the like the black inclusion in media, where it was there was a token in every,
and you don't want to
in
sort
every
of
show.
create that. Yeah,
Right.
And I think now with representation in media, but to me, it's in your community.
Right.
It's one thing to see things on television, but like to see people around you is huge. That it gives you hope. It gives you an insight that, you know what, there are people who are adults that make it through high school, that make it through, you know, and it will, you know, show that there's a presence in the community. That's so important. And that's what I've always believed. You know, if kids ask me in my school, I don't say no. I talk to them about it.
Yeah.
I don't treat it like it's a bad thing. I said, you know, and to see that to me is powerful. I wish I had seen that.
Patrick, I want to have you
really
come back. I want to have you come back in the program, because
Sure.
there's the other aspect of your life. We spent a lot of time on this, which is great. But there's the other aspect of your life that I'm super interested in. You're participating in a competition, a voice-like competition for comedians.
Yes.
You've Niagara's Top Comic is something that still is part of your world. And if you would set aside some time to come back and talk to us about that side of what you do, we just kind of ran the clock down on you here.
No problem.
But I'd really like to do that in the next couple of weeks and
Sure.
and catch up on everything you're doing. All right.
Lee, you name the time and the place, and I'll be here.
Okay, pal. Thank you so much for helping us
You're welcome.
understand, or at least taking a small step for man and a giant leap for mankind, or whatever the hell that
Thank
is.
you very much.
All right, man. Thanks, Patrick.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. Always love talking to Patrick Alexander. He is just a litmus test for everything that is what it should be when it comes to conversation and understanding and enlightenment. He's just a wonderful guy, very funny fellow, a wonderful teacher, great experience. Wow, what a book he could write, Kevin. Amazing. We have now going to, the piers. I'm sorry, I just absolutely lost my mind. The long-awaited return of the Port Dalhousie piers. Government Canada completes rehabilitation work on Port Dalhousie. Now, there's a pretty cool video that was released, and it's all very nice and wonderful and touchy-feely, but the main upshot of it is the fact that we've got Port Dalhousie piers back, and it just seems like not long ago that we thought that it would be forever before we had a chance to actually go out there. But here we go. Now we do have Dave Moukperian coming up to talk to us about what's going on here. But here we are. Port Dalhousie Piers project completed. Crank it up. The music's nice. The Project of Fisheries and Oceans Canada Small Craft Harpers Program. You live in a beautiful area, my fellow Niagarans. This major rehabilitation project included encapsulating the existing piers with new steel sheet pilings. Famous lighthouse. Installing rock berms at the outer ends of the piers. Rebuilding the Lakeside Park Wharf. The southwest wall in front of the former Royal Canadian Legion, see that big beautiful building going up, and the south wall of the Yacht Club. Boy, we live in a beautiful part of the world, Kevin. Construction materials include, now get this, 73 meters of new armor rock berms, 35,000 tons of armor material, 620 meters, 2.6 kilometers of new steel sheet piling, 44,000 tons of fill material, 2,720 cubic meters of concrete, tie rods, toe pins to secure the steel to the shale and the lake pier, 2 new safety ladders. What a wonderful place if you're a boater now to keep your boat. That is beautiful. And of course, our legendary landmark lighthouse out on the northernmost part of the pier. The complete this major project starts a new chapter in Port Dalhousie for the piers. Thank you, Government of Canada, for doing that. I don't know how much it costs, but there you go. Dave Moukperian, owner, operator, just a general do-it-all guy here at Fiddler's Poorhouse. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I am awesome. Now, somebody told me that you were actually hiring people today. What the hell are you thinking?
I know we've set up some interviews yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and all next week just to get this engine back up and running. We're going to try to hopefully get open for June the 14th, so it's time to put the word out that we're going to hire and try to get some very good, talented sous chefs, some line cooks in the building. So
we'll get to that in just a second, and we'll let people know how they can do that. First, I want to get to, you are the proprietor not only here, but also of Monty's, right, in St. Catharines?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
So I've been the owner of Fiddler's Poorhouse for the past 8 years, and then Monty's, I decided to venture out and bought that restaurant a year and a half ago. So everything's been very challenging since the COVID's hit. Challenging
is a good word that we would prefer to not hear the word challenging anymore. The other word that we don't want to hear anymore is interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't want to hear the word interesting or challenging anymore, because it's like you can translate that by saying things really suck.
Oh yeah. So, but you got to stay positive. So that's what we're doing.
So. That being said, you have weathered the storm.
Yes.
How have you weathered the storm? You okay? Are the businesses okay?
Yeah, I think it's like I said, it's been challenging, but I've had some difficult times with trying to predict what the government's going to let us do, and so I've had some staff leave. Obviously, that's why we're hiring, because it's been 15 months.
Well, they got to try to find some work, right?
Yeah. So that I'm not surprised, and obviously I don't hold any grudges that people got to feed their families. So in terms of both places are ready to go. I've been fortunate enough to have some help from the government, and just have gone through a bunch of savings to keep us going. But
what is your understanding about how the business is going to reopen? You're talking about June 14th. What does June 14th mean to you?
Right now, I'm hoping, just based off what I've been reading online, is we're going to be able to open up the patio, keeping 6 feet apart from other tables, having 4 people maximum at a table. Other than that, I haven't really been able to read anything else in terms of what the expectations are. In terms of, we're going to probably have to do contact tracing again, wearing our masks and all the stuff that's been implemented before. I just really would like to get some more definite details on what the government expects us when we reopen.
When do you expect those details to come through, or do you expect them not to come through till like the last minute?
Yeah, I think the way the government's been going, they just drop the ball on you a couple days out, and then you scramble to put a plan together. I'm trying to I'd like to have a staff meeting and just plan, right, and find out, put some kind of a plan in place and some rules, and just let the staff know how we're supposed to open up again. And it's been very difficult when we're in the dark on what the government's going to allow us to do. With the other regulations back 6 months ago, we couldn't even turn the volume up in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, am I allowed to do that again, or can we listen to the sports, to the playoffs on TV again?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, right? So.
Now you created a pretty nice looking and comfortable, socially distanced patio out the back of your restaurant when you were allowed to do so in what used to be just your parking lot, which is what it is now. Still, it's just a parking area. But you went to a lot of time and effort and money, et cetera, to do that. So is that what you're looking forward to, being able to reopen ASAP before they let people actually come into the restaurant?
Yeah, so the plan is like last year, it's almost like Groundhog Day again.
It is
right?
like Groundhog Day. Yeah, we're all Bill Murray every day.
I know. So we kind of already have an idea what my sales were last year when we reopened from scratch. So I'm gonna this weekend and next 5 days we're gonna put the patios back up, put the tents back up, and just get situated on how we're gonna serve people again outdoors. And then in terms of like just staffing and doing a schedule, like I have to put a schedule out, and we don't even know if we're going to be open till 2 a.m. or if we're going to be shut down at 9 o'clock at night. So it's been very, very difficult to let staff know what their lives are going to look like come 10 days from now, right? So
it's tough because, I mean, they don't give people enough time to plan their business. I guess it's because they don't really understand your business, and they're not trying. But at least there might be a little pinprick of light at the end of the proverbial tunnel. Now, one of the things that we wanted to help you with here is your recruitment. You said you were hiring some people. What are you looking for? How can people contact you? And what's the best? How can we help you? You tell us how we can help you.
Well, I would like people to just contact us through our email, the KM, which is the kitchen manager, at fiddlersporhouse.com. Send a quick email to Jeremy, and we're hoping that we can hire. We're going to hire based on the fact that we're going to be open till 2 a.m. And if that's my plan and that's the way I'm going to go, and so we obviously need to double up the staff.
What positions are you looking to fill, Dave?
Sous chef, line cooks, even a couple dishwashers. We're just looking for those. The front of the house, we're all looking to fill a couple positions there, server, bartender.
Right.
So they got to have the skill to do both there.
All right. Explain for people that have, I know, I run into people all the time. I know, but I want you to tell us, what the heck is a sous chef? We hear this term sous chef all the time. I don't think you guys in the restaurant business realize how few people know what that is.
That's true. I think he's there to assist the chef, right? So when the head chef's out of the building and not online, the sous chef is running the line, the kitchen, right?
All right.
And creating menus for items for the restaurant.
So all right. So anybody that's looking for a job in like front of the house, back of the house, sous chef, whatever, again, give us the contact email, and we'll let you go.
Yep. So KM at fiddlersporhouse.com. We're located downtown St. Catharines, obviously, and just send us a quick email, and we'll set up some interviews for next week for people.
Dave Moukperian, thank you very much. It's nice to hear that somebody's hiring, and glad you were able to weather the storm, or at least up to this point. And we'll keep rocking here in your open air window. So have yourself a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Take care, Mook.
Bye.
All right, bye. All right, we have a young gentleman just ready to join us. His name is Lincoln, and Lincoln has a pretty interesting story. And let me just give you a quick overview. Lincoln, on his 10th birthday, decided to give up all his birthday money and buy gift cards for the homeless. After seeing that some of his cards went to a kid his age, he felt that we needed to do more. So he came up with Lincoln Cares Kits. We have received donations from St. Nicholas Elementary School, United Way, Tim Hortons, etc., etc. And there's Lincoln amidst what I'm assuming are his Lincoln Care Kits. So that's the background on our pal Lincoln, who is waiting in the wings here to chat with us today. And he joins us now. Lincoln, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Who else is with you there?
I'm his older brother, Caden.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Caden.
Kagan. Okay. So we have Lincoln and we have Kagan, younger brother, older brother. And so Lincoln, your 10th birthday was when?
April 7th.
All right. So how did you come up with this idea? Why did you? Most people, when they're headed into their 10th birthday, they're just thinking about, hey, I want to have a really cool birthday, and I know with COVID you can't get together with your friends, but you can get together with your family and you have some cake and ice cream and have some great presents and stuff and just have a nice day. So what made you turn your 10th birthday into something different? Why did you start doing this?
Received a lot of gift cards with money in them. I technically received $100, like bills, $100, and instead of using it for like toys and stuff for myself, I took them all the gift cards, gave them to some paramedics, and got them out.
Okay, can you move a little closer to your microphone for me? Can you just move a little bit closer to your computer so it's a little easier to hear you?
There we go. Is that a little better?
Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, so then, and what? Tell me about the Lincoln kits. Tell me about that. What is in a Lincoln Cares kit?
The care kits are for homeless and a lot of things.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Keegan.
The shampoos, bottles of shorts, there's 28 items of spending products, body wash.
There are 28 items in a Lincoln Care Kit, plus the backpack. In it, there's shampoo, there's bars of soap, toothbrushes, toothpaste, floss, body wash, lotion with sunscreen, regular sunscreen, deodorant, first aid kits, socks, sunglasses, hats, 5 soft snacks per kit, a reusable water bottle, a disposable water bottle, combs, lip balm, masks, sanitizer, feminine products, bug spray, and body wipes.
that is awesome. Now, how does this all get? How did this all get funded, Keegan? How did this and Lincoln? How?
I think it's Aiden, right? Did I get that right? Is it Aiden?
Oh, is it Aiden?
Aiden.
Oh, I apologize. It's just my earpiece, I guess, doesn't translate as well as it should. I apologize, Aiden. All right, Aiden, how do these? Who works to put these all together? Is it you and Lincoln and your family, or how does this all get done?
It's me, Lincoln, and the rest of our family. We also had some friends come over, such as our paramedic friend Gregor,
okay,
and my dad's mom.
That is now, and how do you know where to deliver these? Who do you take them to?
We deliver them to Start Me Up, and they're gonna hand them out.
That's terrific. Now, with regard to the community effort, Lincoln, what is it? Let me ask you, what is it with you that really made you want to help people? Because that's not something that a lot of 10-year-old people do. Why? I want to go back to this. Why do you want to do this?
Whenever I go into my car and go places, I see a lot of homeless. I see a lot of people on the streets. And then a couple days later, my big brother Caden gave a pop can to a homeless guy that just opened up, waiting with a dog. That inspired me to want to do it. And I also just love people.
That's amazing. And again, where do you're in St. Catharines, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What area of St. Catharines do you? I'm not trying to give your address away. I'm just saying, what area of of the city do you live in?
We live in the northeast side of St. Catharines.
Northeast. Okay, I got that. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Now, you guys have obviously been doing some in-school learning over the last little while, right? You've been doing your school from home?
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. Now, Aiden, what grade are you studying?
I'm in grade 9.
Grade
I'm
9.
in grade 4.
And you're in grade 4? All right. how has it been for you?
Been great.
For me, it's been challenging.
Yeah. What's been the most challenging for you, Aiden?
It's probably that because we're online, we are given too much time at home, and we're able to not do the work, but also because we're not being monitored.
Right. So it's too easy to sort of, slough it off a little bit.
Slack off.
Yeah. And Lincoln, what has grade 4 been like for you learning from home?
It's been good.
Yeah.
I'm the grade 3-4 class. I had the same teacher for 2 years. And I'm going to grade 5 next. I think it would be challenging for me because I have more ticks, and sometimes it gets really bad, so bad I can't see straight.
Well,
That's it.
now how are your parents? Have you been driving them crazy?
Well, there's 5 of us, so yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, now if is there? I know you go through the agency, but if there's somebody that wants to help you do what you're doing, can they get in touch with you to help you guys out?
Yeah, they can.
Yes.
How?
You can go to the site lincolncareKits.weebly.com where you can donations.
All right, that's awesome. Lincoln, Aiden, thank you for being here. I think you guys will definitely be the leaders of our future, and with you guys out there, we're going to be in good hands. So thank you very much. We appreciate what you guys are doing.
And thank you for letting us be on the call.
Oh,
Yes.
our pleasure. Keep in touch with us, all right?
You will do.
Everyone,
Have a good day.
Yeah, you guys too.
Bye.
Bye. Wow.
I think they got 5 over there.
5 of them?
5 children.
Wow. Mom and dad?
It's a busy house. Busy house with everybody online learning. Now, interestingly, is you brought up what part of St. Catharines they live in.
Yes.
In the last 12 hours, I've been mired and involved in an online debate, and you know where they go, but about a particular sector of Niagara that I guess has a new name, and I'm resisting.
What have you been doing?
So all of a sudden I came across this post last night, and if you can, read it aloud and see if anything pops out at you.
All right. Okay. Oh, no, this one. All right. This is Paolo's post. I'll lease this beautiful 1-bed plus den in Grimsby on the Lake. I didn't know there was such a place. I mean, I knew we had a lake and I knew we had Grimsby, but are you looking for a clean apartment and steps to the lake? Great small town vibe with I'm doing the radio thing. Great small town vibe with waterfront lifestyle, a quiet and friendly building located.
Well, it is quite nice. I mean, here you go.
Yeah. But we're now referring
like, what is this?
Look. There's actually a sign there.
No, that's a bastardized version of the downtown Grimsby sign.
Somebody made this up.
Somebody photoshopped that.
Oh my!
And you know that, I mean, we all see them from the QEWs who are driving by right by Casablanca, where all those
for sure,
new townhomes and condo developments are going between the QEW and the lake.
And absolutely nothing against Grimsby. It's one of the fastest growing communities, if not the fastest growing community in officially.
I'll tell you though,
what is Niagara? But I think our folks in Niagara-on-the-Lake might have a little bit of conversation.
It's a nice place.
The folks, very nice
so
place.
This is the view. Why do they show us this? Like the first, what's this about? What's this about? Condo's nowhere close to that.
Grimsby on the Lake.
Like that right there should get your skin standing up on the back of your head.
Yeah. Is
Is that a thing? You know what? I think that maybe that's a real sign, Lee.
It looks like a real sign.
Maybe that's the real sign.
Did somebody in Grimsby, did the Grimsby town fathers, town council, city council, whatever the hell you call yourselves, did you put this sign up? Are we now Grimsby on the Lake? Do we now have a Lord Mayor of Grimsby?
It must be the condo development, right?
Is there a fort? Is there a fort now?
Fort
going
Grimsby?
to be a Fort Grimsby that might have but didn't take part in the War of 1812?
This makes me upset.
I'm a little upset by it too. I mean, again, nothing against Grimsby. You have a nice community, and there's a lot of nice things going on there. But Grimsby on the Lake, where are the tricorn hats and the muskets?
Are you kidding me? Grimsby on the Lake?
Wow.
Real
estate developers will stop at nothing to, glom onto something that's popular, because everybody knows here and out in the GTA that Niagara-on-the-Lake is a prime destination for people with lots of money that live in places like the GTA, etc. And I know a number of folks that have come down, so do you, into Niagara-on-the-Lake. It's a destination across the country. People know Niagara-on-the-Lake, as well as they know Niagara Falls, for different reasons. And I mean the wineries and the stuff and the whole deal. But now, tagging on to that, apparently, are some fairly smart marketers that have dubbed this area as Grimsby on the Lake.
Now, Lee,
how elegant.
You nailed it. It's exactly what the developers are doing, is they try and make it sound sexy and seductive.
Of course.
Do you want to live in Grimsby, or do you want to live in Grimsby on the Lake? Oh, hold on a second. Grimsby on the Lake.
Yeah.
I grew up in suburbia. So I grew up in an area north of Toronto where we saw development creep north. Exactly the development that we're seeing now in Niagara is what I experienced. And the thing that always made me laugh is how they named the roads. The roads always seem to be named after what they demolished to put up the houses.
Yeah.
I lived on a road called Fern Valley. There were no ferns, nor was there a valley. There probably was, and to get to it, you had to go off of Bloomfield. Prior to the houses being there, chock-a-block, there was a field that occasionally would bloom.
Back in the day, I grew up in a little community here in Niagara called Black Creek. See, now, if they were naming it today, they would have probably called it Beige Creek. And the reason they called it Black Creek is because it flowed out of the Niagara River. And you could see the blue, like right at the bridge, the Black Creek Bridge across the Niagara Parkway. Beautiful blue Niagara River. The minute you crossed under the bridge, the water was dark because it had a really dark brown clay. So they called it Black Creek. That's okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, sure. But, maybe it would be today, maybe kind of sort of not quite Black Creek.
Know what?
What do you know?
I saw a little bit of history this week, I think in one of the Facebook groups I follow, about the origins of Hurricane Road. You know Hurricane Road, kind of in Font Hill area?
Oh, yeah.
In Pelham?
Yep.
They said that way back, I think late 1700s, there was a hurricane that went through that area.
Yes, there was.
And uprooted a number of trees.
Yeah.
And they decided in this one swath that now that it was clear, we'll kind of use the trees to make a barrier and we'll create a road. And that road became known as Hurricane Road. So Hurricane Road, that's the origins of Hurricane Road.
Before we move on, we've had such a busy program today talking with folks. I have been very remiss in giving our sponsors the due that they are due for being a part of the program. This is Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. That would be me. And of course, we are powered by WeeStream, Canada's first and foremost live streaming company, and that would be Kevin. And we are powered. We are fueled by Gale's Gas Bars. They have been fueling Niagara for well over 50 years, and we are so happy to have them fueling this program as well. We are supported by Performance Heating and Air, Carlo and his crew. And Performance Heating is saving your family money because they have families too. And they are here in Niagara, for Niagara, by Niagara. They're your neighbors. They have their families, you have yours, and they're dedicated to helping you with whatever you need in the arena of heating and air services in Niagara. So Carlo, thank you for supporting us. Also, Enwick, Niagara's local high-speed internet provider, Larry Chartier, thank you for continuing to show your faith in the program. They service both rural and urban customers across the region. They're the region's largest rural provider, so that the large mansion operators like Kevin out in the West End can get his internet. It's sort of like Downton Abbey out there, It's kind of hard to it's kind of hard to connect those great big mansions to the internet, but Enwick can do that for Kevin and his gentry neighbors out in that part of the country. They offer business services up to a gigabyte per second. You know what that means if you're in business, and 100% unlimited service, no contract. So check out Enwick if you have any interest or questions about internet in Niagara, especially on the rural side, but they serve urban and rural as well. And to our friends Mark Shirk, Blake Shirk, and Verge Insurance Group, everything for all of your insurance needs, home, car, auto, whatever it is. Did I say car and auto in the same sentence? I did. Anyway, but again, formed in Niagara, by Niagara, for Niagara, and we appreciate all of our sponsors being here on board. I want to mention something quickly, and I don't want to go too far with it because I don't want to do this without being sanctioned by Jessica Friesen, who is the CEO of Gales Gas Bars. As a soon-to-be mom, Jessica went through, and as a new mom, 14 years or so ago now, she went through a very, very, very interesting and dark period in her life, and she has written about it. And we're not going to go into details right now, but there's Jessica's post, and she doesn't know I'm going to be doing this. And Jessica, I hope you don't mind, but she put this up. She came back to Facebook. She was away from Facebook for about 10 years, by the way, and just came back. So after 10 years off Facebook, very excited to have rejoined. There's a specific reason for this, and I've already had some questions about my cover picture. And that picture is showing a 42,000 word manuscript that is about to become her very first book. 14 years ago, I was about to become a new mom. Unbeknownst to me at the time, I was about to enter the darkest period of my life. And her story goes on. You can read that. And that baby that she was cradling in her arms is a young man I know well now. He just turned 14. His name is Eddie. And he's a wonderful young man, and it's a terrific, terrific family. And Jessica's written a book about the struggles that she went through. So with all the rest of the things that she has going on, she is a CEO of a major company, an employer, a community activist and participant. She's on the board of the Niagara Parks Commission and many other organizations in the region, and yet set pen to paper or fingers to keyboard, if you will, and told her story. And that story is going to be released in book form very shortly. And I hope that she will, this is my message to you, Jessica, I hope that you will come on our show and not as a sponsor, but as a woman with a story to tell. And hopefully you'll come and join us sometime when the time is right for you. So,
Lee, we've got a couple of restaurant stories.
Maybe I went too far. Hope not. I mean, we could be fired by the end of the day.
A couple of restaurant stories that are on Niagara 411. Not sure if you want to go to Port Colborne, if you want to go to Hartzell Road. Where should
Port
we
Colborne.
begin?
Let's do Port Colborne.
I knew you were going to say that, which is why I don't have it ready.
Well, then let's do Hartzell Road. You're the executive producer. Don't ask me if you're going to do something else. That's a
50-50 chance.
I feel like I'm married to you.
I had a 50-50 chance of success.
What do you want to do, Lee? Do you want to do this or do you want to do that? I say, I want to do that.
Wrong
and she
answer.
says, well, I had the plan to do this.
Yeah,
well, then
wrong
why
answer.
did you ask me?
Wrong answer.
Why did you ask me? Kevin, don't ask me. Just tell me where we're going, for heaven's sake.
Let's talk about the KFC stabbing.
Let's. That's what I really wanted to do. Gee whiz. Don't ask me a question if you don't want the answer. My God.
I want to know, was it a plastic knife?
Huh?
Was it a plastic knife?
I don't know. I hit my microphone, sorry.
Yeah, we're still good.
All right. There we go. We're going where Kevin wanted to go anyway. I'm married to two people, him and my wife. Male wanted, don't draw any conclusions to that. Male wanted in relation to stabbing in St. Catharines. Uniform officers were dispatched to an assistant ambulance call for service at KFC located at Hartzell Road in the city of St. Catharines in response to stabbing. The investigators revealed that two male were in the restaurant when they got into a verbal dispute over how one of the males was wearing his mask. Ah, yes, the mask debate. As a result of the dispute, one male stabbed the other male. The victim, a male in his 20s, was transported out of Region Hospital. Why am I treating this lightly? Because I really don't care. Frankly, I don't care. Kevin, I don't care.
Fair enough. It's gone.
A couple of idiots over a mask, and some doofus got stabbed because some other doofus didn't know. Like,
boy, where's Honey with the chicken? He said he was going to KFC to bring back the bucket.
I wanted fries with that.
Hey, buddy, lift that mask up a little bit. You got to cover your nose with that mask. What are you wearing a mask around your chin? You can't.
You know what? I see so many people walking into places like this. Like, hello, breathing.
Stabbing it. That's why I wondered if it was one of those plastic knives. How long did it take the guy to open the package? Always takes forever.
Do you now know why I wanted to go to Port Colborne?
I now know. So let's go.
Now, this has nothing to do with masks. It has nothing to do with COVID. It just has to do with acknowledging a family that has been in business here in the Niagara region for decades. And this post was put up by Nick because the family sent him this information, and a very bittersweet news moment. My family and I have been eating here since the 80s, says Nick. We will deeply miss you and wish your family a wonderful and happy future. Dear friends and community members, on behalf of the Lee and Lang families, I'd like to take a brief moment to, and you can.
You might have to abbreviate.
Yeah, you can. But since '87 or so, that they've been operating the Lotus Garden restaurant in Port Colborne, and for generations. And this is not a sad time for them. This is something that I just wanted to make clear. They made very, very clear in their post that they were not doing this because of COVID. They weren't closing because their business was suffering. They just picked this time because for them, it was time. And the Lee and Yang families, thank you very much for your service to Niagara. And they've been in that same location in Port Colborne for many, many, many years. Not long after they came over to this country, they opened that location and are now saying so long. And thank you very much for your patronage. And it's been a great run in Port Colborne, but we've sold the property and we're closing it down because it's time for us to rest and move on. So to those families that have contributed so much to Niagara, generations after generations of people being contributing members of our society and working, thank you very much for everything you've done, and a fond farewell to the people of the Lotus Garden, and we hope you enjoy your years of rest After restaurant business is not easy. If anybody ever told you it was, they're liars, because restaurants and bars, everybody has this dream of, oh man, I'd love to run a sports bar. No, you don't. No, you probably do not want to run a sports bar, but a lot of people still have that dream, and for the people that do it well, God bless you. And here's another one. It is that time of year. I'm a guy that likes to take his dog for a car ride every day, and I've been doing it for months because of the whole COVID thing. Gets me out of the house, and I can run down, I can open the windows and let my pooch stick her head out the window and enjoy the ride and get some sniffs. But this is the time of year where and it's okay as long as your car is still moving, but if you have stops to make and errands to run, now we have to pretty much stop that. Pet safety tips for the summer. A reminder as summer approaches. Can you open that one up for me, Kev, a little bit? There we go. Always carry some water in the car, especially if you're going to be out for a long time. You're going to go for a walk or whatever. Ensure your pet has access to water. Don't leave them unattended outside in the hottest part of the day. Did you know that dogs sweat through their feet? They do. They sweat through their feet. So if they're on hot pavement or cement or something like that, it's not good for them. If it's hot for your feet, it's even more hot for theirs, because they can't get rid of their body heat. Never leave a pet in a parked car, even with a window open. The temperature goes way up. Walk dogs in the early morning, later at night when it's cooler. Be alert to signs of dehydration or heat stroke. They're more sensitive than you think they are. So this is the time to be thinking about pet safety and animals in particular that you have in your car. All right.
So some other things here. These 9 breeds, I did not know about that. Can you read those?
Yeah. The 9 dog breeds of increased risk of heart stroke. Chow Chow Bulldog, French Bulldog, and what is number 4? I had a dog looked a lot like him. What does that say? What does number 4 say?
It's Francais.
Francais?
Dog de Bordeaux.
Oh, that's why I do not know these dogs.
I think I drank some of that last week.
The Greyhound. Well, there's no Greyhounds around. We shut that bus system down. Joke. I don't know
So
6
can you read them all?
I can't read 6.
6. Here, Cavalier King or Charles Spaniel.
Charles Spaniel. All right. A pug. Yeah. Got that. English Springer Spaniel and a golden retriever. More of them, little long-haired dogs. Other than the Greyhound, I'm surprised about the Greyhound a little bit, because they're sort of a short hair.
And I mean, this is of particular interest. Look at the weather there.
This is really interesting. 75 degrees. Obviously, that's a Fahrenheit. It only takes 10 minutes for a car to reach 100 degrees inside. Like, that's amazing. And we do these tests every year. There's always somebody that does a test by sitting in a car for 10 minutes to see how it feels to them and relates it to how it feels to their animals. 75 degrees, 30 minutes, it's 120 degrees. 85 degrees, 5 minutes, it's 90, and you can see the rest of it on the way down. That's how criminal it is for people that leave their dogs in vehicles. And my dog is not happy because I don't take her a lot of places now that the warmer weather. I had her out today, but we didn't stop anywhere. So, and I had the sunroof open and the 2 back windows down, and she was hanging out, so she was all right. But it's we like to travel together, but summer it's hard to do that. Kevin,
yes, sir.
We have had a couple of things that were a little bit confusing, but we did sort them out. On Niagara 411, we had a person that was found and a person that was missing, and those posts were very, very close together. And I was concerned that maybe people that were scrolling through Niagara 411, thank you, Nick, by the way, for all that you do for us here in Niagara.
There's Team Super Jacobs.
Hey, Team Super Jacob, at it again.
Reach out to them again. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right here. I'm just scrolling to give you the idea. So here's
here's the fellow that we're still, as I understand it, looking for. Police are seeking assistance in locating a Niagara man last seen in Hamilton, but he is from Niagara Falls. Okay, and that's the information, or we're getting the information with regard to this fellow.
It might have been removed. So,
well, maybe they did take it down.
Ali Niazi.
Ali Niazi. It was put up there by, and I'm looking for my own post here. It was put up there by the Halton Police, by Hamilton Police.
No, but then right under it, Lee, was this post, which again might make it a little confusing. I thought, I thought they found that guy.
Yeah, and this is the one that made it confusing. There was another missing person, a 37-year-old male, that was posted yesterday that has been located and is safe. So don't get the two of those confused. I think we are still looking for that young person whose post we just saw. But this missing person that was posted earlier is okay. And we've had some good success stories over the last few weeks of people, Kevin, that have been on here that have been located and have been located as safe. So that's really good to know. So, yeah, make sure, because those stories were so closely related in space on the Facebook page, you could perhaps confuse the two.
And Lee, I know you definitely wanted to set aside a little time on the program today to wish my mother a very happy birthday.
Yes, indeed. And I wanted to do this for two reasons. Mrs. Jack, happy 80th birthday. What a milestone. And so hard to do these milestones in this COVID generation. But because she has a very talented and technologically advanced son, his name happens to be Kevin, that runs a live streaming company here in Niagara that they can take on the road wherever they want to go. She was able to enjoy her 80th birthday in the bosom of her family without actually being in the bosom of her family. And so, Kevin, take it away from here and tell us what we're looking at right now, because people have special events all the time in their lives, and they would love to be, and people have such bad feelings about not being able to share them. But through your company, they can share them, and this is just a prime example of how Kevin did it for his own family.
Right, so here you have, Lee. You see, this is my mom, and that's my brother-in-law in their backyard, and we wanted to host a Zoom for my mom because that's what you got to do on her birthday. She can't have all her friends come as we normally would have been planning this thing for a year, big milestone birthday. So instead we set up a Zoom. We needed to make sure that we weren't all huddled around a little laptop.
Absolutely.
That we could sit comfortably, that everybody could hear us comfortably, that we could hear them, and of course everybody on the Zoom could see everybody that had gathered, minimal numbers, but people that had gathered to celebrate my mom's birthday. So that's what you see right there. And there you go. WeeStream has the technology to put it all together. I brought the TV in, the webcam, the microphone, the speaker, all the technology.
And everybody can talk to everybody. Everybody knows what's going on.
Absolutely. So everybody could see all of our family that was there to celebrate my mom's birthday. Meanwhile, everybody else was on Zoom. So again, just one of the benefits of having your son that is part of a live streaming company.
Is a pioneer.
So if you're looking to do something, get in contact with me because our prices are very reasonable. And if that's something that you think you would want to do, if you've tried to pull it off in the past, you don't have the technical know-how, we can help you out with that. So
yeah, pioneers in the technology, and I don't say that lightly. And we'll talk about that more as the weeks go by. We're very, very pleased, by the way, of your support of the program. We don't take enough time out to thank you for being here and logging on and having a look-see. And one of these times we will actually break through. There is a wall, to be perfectly honest, in the interest of full disclosure, there is a wall of understanding and participation that people are sometimes struggling with, and I totally get it, is the fact that when we're doing a show like this, the tendency for people that are just watching passively as a third party, And you're more than welcome to do that. My gosh, thousands of people do every week, and for that we appreciate it. Our goal is to ensure the fact that you feel comfortable at any given moment in time just jumping on the program to have a conversation with us. Because that's what this is all about. It is live, it is in real time. We will talk to anybody, we will listen to anybody and present all sorts of points of view. We are not underwritten by any major company. The company is ours. Kevin is the executive producer. I'm the co-producer and host, obviously. The technology is WeeStreams. Our sponsors are here because they want to be here and can leave us at any time, although they haven't chosen to do so, which is wonderful. It is all about Niagara, in Niagara, for Niagara, and yes, we might expand at some point in time because we're getting a lot of recognition, which is nice. But the be all and end all is where I'm going with this, is that we want you to be a part of the program at any moment in time that you want to be. And if you have a business like the Lotus Restaurant, for example, and you want to talk about your business, if you're closing or you're opening or you've got something going on or whatever, just call us and tell us. We're not going to charge you for it, but we're here to help Niagara connect with Niagara. And if there's something you feel, we had a gentleman last week from a record shop around on James Street click in and tell us he had a bunch of new copies of the new Tragically Hip album, Saskadelphia, and just saying, hey, somebody wants a copy of the album, give me a call and I'll do a curbside delivery for you. That's what we're here for. If you believe there's an unsung hero somewhere here in Niagara that you know that is not getting the recognition that they deserve, contact us and tell us the story. You don't have to schedule it. You don't have to call us and set up an interview and go jump through the hoops, etc. Just watch the show, and it says at the bottom of the thing there, click the Zoom link in the post and come on. And there's Chris right there that was with us last week. He just clicked on and told us that he had some Saskadelphia Tragically Hip albums that were in his store, and you can give him a shout. So we realize this is new, and we realize people are sometimes hesitant to throw their face up on the screen, but that's where we're going. Think of it as a live, interactive television talk show. All right? That's what we do in real time, and it's really that simple. Again, before we get to our musical guests to play us off the stage as we do every week, I do want to thank Performance Heating and Air for being here with us. And what Carlo wants you to know is the fact that they are committed, Performance Heating, to saving you and your family money, because they have families too, and don't we all. Gales Gas Bars for fueling this program, as they have done to Niagara for well over 50 years. Also, thank you for that. Jessica, hopefully I didn't out you too much with regard to your book, but if so, my bad, you can blame me. Also, Larry Chartier, Enwick High Speed Internet, and your crew, always a pleasure to have you still with us, and Mark and Blake Shirk, Virgin Insurance Group here in Niagara as well. Thanks for supporting the program. Now, we have an act that's coming up to, as I say, play us off the stage, as we do every week, trying to highlight Niagara talent. First of all, Kevin, always a pleasure working with you. Nice job.
You as well.
Nick at Niagara 411, good job for you this week as well. We follow you religiously, as you know.
Hi, Nick's mom.
Yeah, I forgot to do that last week. Nick's mom, we love you. All right. The band is Foolproof. This has been Season 2, Episode 22. I'm Lee Sterry, and I hope you come back for Episode 23 a week from today. And thanks again to Moukperian.
The Scooter Duder.
Scooter Dude. To Dave Moukperian and Fiddler's Poorhouse, it's lovely to sit in your beautiful open air window, and hopefully it'll be rocking and rolling with people in a couple of weeks. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Later.
I'll take